Dear fellow taxpayers, again I'm talking in a fake British accent because I like it more than my real voice, my real speaking voice. Let me tell you some exciting secrets about how they robbed you again of billions of dollars. Now, this is just an example about Rikers Island, but you already know the jail system in America is a completely, utterly corrupt Stalin piece of shit, criminal enterprise. You already know that the judges are corrupt. The DAs are all criminals under current laws. I'm not saying in a better world they'd be criminals. I'm saying under current laws, every judge in America could be jailed tomorrow. Hell, if it says in God we trust in a courtroom, every judge can be arrested. They swore on a Bible, which is illegal. Really, how is a Bible legally binding? They all swore to uphold the Constitution. If they see in God we trust in their courtroom, they just proved that they don't care about enforcing the Constitution. Do you see? They just violated their oath and they committed fraud, etc., etc., etc. All law enforcement throughout history had been the biggest criminal. All right, I'm digressing, sorry, but let's get that out of the way. They don't want you to remember that. You have to help spread the word. All of history's greatest villains, Stalin, Hitler, Bush, Bloomberg, Caligula, all of them have one thing in common. They were all law enforcement. All. Now, some people are going to say, some right-wingers are going to say, well, that's a fluke. It's just because 100% of them were law enforcement doesn't, that all the greatest villains in history were all law enforcement, doesn't suggest that maybe law enforcement is dirty. Rikers. Now, I'm going to tell you about Rikers, some of the secrets, and no one on earth has ever revealed these secrets before. I'm the best detective, and I wish I wasn't. I was born this way. I was born a freak. As a little boy, I did things like I put a note on the Christmas tree for Santa to see, because the story, now no little child believes in Santa. The story's idiotic. The story is idiotic. He can't fit down the chimney. Any kid knows that. He can't hit every roof in one night. Every kid knows that. But they all choose to believe the lie because it's better than the alternative, which is truth, which is not so pleasant. Because the humans have made a true world that sucks. And a society that sucks. We prefer the lies. And that was deliberate because they wanted to teach you, the 1% or whatever you want to fucking call them, had to teach you that you want to be lied to, that being lied to is good. Because that's all they were going to do to you is lie to you, so they could keep all the gold while you slaved in the mud as the serfs. Haha. And it worked on you guys for millions of years. Literally. You people don't realize how old humans are. But these rackets applied, what they did with Rikers doesn't have anything necessarily to do with jails. It's the same kind of criminal racket that these people do, these mobsters, and I don't mean just Tommy the Finger. When I say mobsters, I mean anyone who's an organized criminal. People don't realize that. If you've got 6 friends who deal weed, they're a mafia. Under law, they're mafia, and we'd all agree. It's a criminal enterprise. It's not one guy breaking into a house. It's a criminal enterprise. Now, of course, we all believe that marijuana isn't a crime. And even the Declaration of Independence says whatever we say goes. It doesn't matter what the politicians say. It matters what the consent of the governed is. That's clear. We all agree. The Declaration of Independence, the Constitution are clear. You and I are boss. You and I are God. The President of the United States has to get down and suck our fucking dicks every day if we tell him to. If he doesn't like it, he can quit. But they are our slaves. But they don't want you to know that. That's why they put them up in mansions. All the governors get mansions and a lot of the mayors get mansions because it sends a message to you subliminally that they are kings and you are ants. So you look up to them on a pedestal, and it works. Look at the way the 99% view celebrities. You view celebrities as better than you, more important than you. These are all brainwashing tactics that Stalin and all the emperors use. That's why you put their faces on money, because every day it tells the little dirty-faced mud people that, whoa, Caesar's a hotshot. He's on all the money. He's a fucking big deal. If there's politicians' faces on American currency, we have a gigantic scandal. In fact, you could literally, no joke, under current laws, everyone who participated in putting politicians' faces on money or allows this to continue, who's in a position of power, we could hang for treason, because that's the only reason the faces are on the money, to cancel what America stood for, which was the little people, not the big people. America was a new kind of country. It was supposed to be different than the other ones. It didn't matter if you were born rich or born poor. You had an equal shot. There was no respect for aristocracies or dynasties or the rich or any of this thing or the powerful. None of that mattered. America was a new type of government. It was supposed to be. Of course, that's not true. Everything's a lie, but that was the point of America. That's why we have it in our Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights exists. Go read the Bill of Rights again. Everyone, well, not everyone, but the newspapers will never tell you this. The only purpose of the Bill of Rights is to stop the criminals who the Founding Fathers knew we had to be scared of the most. And who were those criminals? Police, judges, district attorneys and prosecutors, politicians who make laws. Nobody else. The Bill of Rights doesn't address anybody else. It says cops can't do this, cops can't do that, cops can't do this, cops can't do that. Judges can't do this, judges can't do that. They can't hit you with excessive bail. Judges can't hit you with excessive punishment. Judges can't stall your trial for a long time. Over and over again. The entire Bill of Rights says one thing and one thing only in its entirety. Law enforcement is the real criminal. Law enforcement is the real criminal, and law enforcement is the real criminal. So why don't Americans know this? Because of Operation Kardashian. If you see Kardashian in the papers all the time, you could literally hang every newspaper editor like we did in Nuremberg. Julius Streicher, don't believe me, we hung a newspaper editor in Nuremberg because we correctly realized that you can murder fuckloads of people just as a newspaper editor, starting fake wars, for example, etc. With great power comes what? Great responsibility. If you don't like it, you sell your newspaper. But you're not allowed to defraud the customers of your paper. You're not allowed to defraud the people of America. And if you did, and we know why you did it, and we can prove why you did it, that's actual treason. You tried to cancel our free and in every election, they give us the lousy Republican and the lousy Democrat. Fake choices. That's the first thing totalitarians do. Really evil totalitarians. They give you a false choice. Hitler did it. You give people a false choice. Then when they pick one of the two false choices, you blame the victim and say, you chose them. You chose Robot A or you chose Robot B. No. We didn't want either one of them, but you told us they were the only real candidates. And we can kind of prove this in every single media report ever done in U.S. history. It's all dirty, but people don't realize it. No, it's not simply dirty. It's super illegal. And even better, it's treachery and treason under current statutes. Now, obviously, we aren't going to hang these people. We should. If there was a revolution, I would be the first to fucking swing the axe. Hey, you got nobody to blame but yourself. You had a choice between being a good person or being a greedy scumbag motherfucker who tried to murder America. You reap what you sow. Nobody forced you. This isn't even Nazi Germany. A lot of the Nazi soldiers didn't want to go do what they did, but they had to. They were forced to, or they would have been fucking killed. These reporters are far worse than Nazis. They volunteered to destroy their friends and family in hopes of a little extra money, climb that ladder. Uncle Tom, suck off the slave master's dick. You can't compare newspaper editors and reporters to Nazis. All of the fucking criminals in America voluntarily chose to be completely evil and rob you and your friends blind. And you have a right to self-defense, says the current laws. You have a right to self-defense. But I'm digressing. We're supposed to talk about Rikers. Again, remember, this isn't really about Rikers. It's showing you how contracting scams work in government. Again, the number one way they steal your money, ladies and gentlemen, and you got to spread the word because YouTube is shutting down my channels because I'm whistleblowing. They're going to argue, no, you're harassing people. Really? Really, I'm harassing people. Shut the fuck up, you goddamn right-wing pieces of shit. Remember, never trust a billionaire. Never, let me say it again, never trust a billionaire. Google, maybe they had good intentions before the money corrupted them. But the guys at Google now are fucking batshit crazy lunatic criminals, censoring free speech, protecting Nazism at every turn. I can tell you all kinds of stories you don't know, but that's going to have to be for another video. Oh wait, I can't post those. When I posted videos about YouTube banning my videos, YouTube removed those videos. Oh, let me guess, now am I harassing your corporation? See, fucking dirty liars. They're fucking criminals. But as long as you kneel, why wouldn't they? They'd be stupid to start obeying the laws. They'd be stupid to be good people. When you and the 99% have said every minute of every day, if you don't treat us with equal respect, if you rob us all blind, well, there's nothing we're going to do about it. That's what you said. Your actions are deafening. I need earplugs. That's how deafening your silence and acquiescence is. Example, though. when a Bloomberg announced he was going to plant 1 million trees. Now, obviously that was a lie, but humans are stupid. Every liberal believed him because liberals are as dumb as right-wingers are dishonest. So nobody thought to ask, hey, wait a minute, you're going to plant 1 million trees. Everyone just went, yay, I was the only person good. How much is each tree going to cost us over what it would cost us just to go buy them at Home Depot? And who is going to be selling us these trees and getting rich? No one reporter but me. Now you can guess, who's the only reporter who's blacklisted everywhere from writing? Me. Even the left-wing rags like The Shadow, a fucking hardcore activist left-wing rag in the East Village, is fake. They will not allow me, and they've invited me to write all kinds of stuff, and they will not allow me to do any whistleblowing of any kind. And when asked about it, Chris gives different answers. You live in an ugly, evil world. But let's get to Rikers Island. Now, I might be the first person to realize, oh yeah, I even did tests with Santa Claus as a kid, put a note on the thing. I as a tooth fairy, put the tooth under my pillow, didn't tell anybody because I didn't believe this horse shit. That was as a 5-year-old boy. I was born deformed. I see through bullshit like no one else can. I wish I didn't have that ability because ignorance is bliss and knowing everything is complete agonizing hell. Being me is like being on fire 24 hours a day. It's really, really bad. But you all know that. The smarter you get, usually the more miserable you become. Now, here's the good part. The good part is it doesn't have to be that way. We can make it so the smarter you are, the better your life is. But not if we don't get off our fucking asses and do something. I'm going to tell you a secret about Rikers that no one on earth knows. Because the people who created the scam are all dead now of old age. And no one will allow this. I've snuck letters into the news. Well, I've tried to write letters into the daily newspapers and stuff. Not one will allow the topic to be broached. Can you guess why? Fact. Before Rikers Island. Now, for those who don't know, in New York City, we have 5 boroughs. There's the Bronx, you've heard of it. The Queens, you've heard of it. Brooklyn, you've heard of it. Staten Island, you've heard of it. Manhattan, you've heard of it. Wherever you are on the earth, you've probably heard of those 5 boroughs. You've heard of JFK Airport, and we have LaGuardia Airport. Right off the water from LaGuardia Airport is an island that they made much bigger. It's now like 400, 500 acres, mostly landfill. Rikers Island. We decided, not even 100 years ago, to put the big jail there. Now, any intelligent person already would say, something doesn't pass the smell test right there. That's not what you do with a detainment center. Maybe if it was a prison. Now, remember, jail is where you hold people temporarily. Prison is where you hold people for long sentences, okay? When you're arrested for a crime and you're waiting 3 years for trial for murder, which is insane, you have a right to a speedy trial, but there isn't a judge in this country who's ever obeyed the law. Bring it on. Bring all the judges you want. I will prove there's not one honest judge in the USA. Not one. You're going to sit in the jail for years, going to court every month for no reason as they drag it out, which is dirty and corrupt and done for nefarious reasons, but let's not digress on that today. And then when you're finally convicted, you go to prison. Now, a couple secrets people don't realize, jail is actually worse than prison. Most people think prison is worse than jail. Wrong. Stop believing what Hollywood tells you. Stop believing what TV tells you. Nothing they say is true. It's all propaganda by the 1% who runs, what do they run? Hollywood, thank you. And they run everything else. The billionaires control everything. Now, this is common sense. Now, if it's a jail, now if it's a prison, Rikers would make sense, but this is how they scammed the public because the public doesn't realize that difference. Now, watch this. What you normally would do traditionally is you put the jail right next to the courthouse. Do you know why? Because if this guy's facing a murder trial and he has to go to court every single month, why would you want him to be as close as possible while you're holding him anyhow? So you put the jail next to the courthouse. So it takes 3 minutes to get him to court. You don't have to buy any buses. You don't have to hire drivers. You don't need insurance or gasoline. You understand? And we did that. They put the tombs adjacent to the Manhattan courthouses. In Brooklyn, the Brooklyn House of Detention, the jail, is next to the courthouse. We just walk down an underground hallway. Saves the taxpayers zillions of dollars. So now, are you starting to realize what would be wrong with putting the jail far, far away from the courthouse? Think, stop and think like a detective. What would be some of the side effects of moving the jail far away from the courthouse? Now you're going to need to buy buses. Somebody is going to sell you those buses, and a lot of money is going to change hands. There's cash to be made. Ding, 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 ding. Also, by moving the jail far, far away, you now have to hire 10 times more employees, which helps the unions. Now, I'm pro-union mostly, but we can all agree there are reasons why unions would be rackets, and we know the mob ran a lot of the unions, and still do. Like Pat Lynch at the PBA, biggest mobster in town. Newspapers refuse to even report what he gets paid or that he gets 2 paychecks. They will not tell you anything because they are in on this gigantic criminal octopus or whatever you want to call it. Now, so by moving the jail to Rikers Island, far away from not only 1 courthouse, not only 2 courthouses, not only 3 courthouses, not only 4 courthouses, not only 5 courthouses, but 5 courthouses in 5 different boroughs. Whoa, now you need 5 times as many buses. See, every day to go to the courthouses to bring inmates and to pick inmates up. Whoa, somebody now just even got super duper richer. But wait, there's more. Now, well, certainly they had a reason to move the jails to Rikers, right? Certainly there was a reason. So many people were escaping from the Tombs and the Brooklyn House of Detention that they had to put them on an isolated island to protect the people in New York. That's the thing that stupid, lazy thinkers would assume because they're dumb. And people are lazy and they don't think about anything. They just go through life like zombie robots, which you already know. Nobody was escaping. Almost everybody in jail in New York City is in jail for misdemeanors. They're in jail for misdemeanors. We're not trying to escape because we're facing more jail time if we escape than if we stay in jail. It's a stupid lie. Everything they told you was a dumbass lie, and it all worked because every reporter is a fucking liar. Even the good reporters are lying to you about almost every topic. And if you don't believe me, I'm here. You can find me. You can debate me right here on YouTube, motherfuckers. The real purpose of Rikers Island was as a complete organized crime racket. Now, when we go to court back and forth every day, oh, here's a big secret. This is a good one. Moving Rikers from the tomb, moving all the inmates from jails right next to the courthouses is actually a security breach. They'll tell you, oh no, Rikers is more secure. Not remotely true. And anyone who tells you can't escape from Rikers, I'll prove it tomorrow. Escaping from Rikers is fucking easy. Don't believe me? Step forward, Department of Corrections. Step forward, New York Times. Step forward and let's do this, you pieces of shit. Everything you say is a fucking lie. Having the inmates leave the jail and be in regular public and then locked up again in the courthouse. Do you understand? You've now created a zillion opportunities for inmates, especially real, serious, dangerous inmates or mobsters who have money and connections. You've now created a massive security breach that never existed. In the old days, you have a hallway. Your only chance of escape is that hallway. But there's guards everywhere. It's not as easy as the zillions of ways to escape out of Rikers. Remember, we're talking hundreds of bus trips a day. You could probably get a mobster to go up, stop a truck, a bus, and just bribe the driver with fucking 100,000 cash, $1 million cash, right? If you're a fucking huge, if you're a billionaire criminal, you see, it's all fake. It's fake. Oh, but let me jump back. It's not 5 courthouses in 5 boroughs. It's a lot more. Example, in Brooklyn, we would be on the bus from Rikers, and those buses would not just go to 1 courthouse. You understand? It's not just 1 courthouse in each borough. Many of the boroughs have multiple courthouses. They have, sometimes the felony court is separate from the misdemeanor court. That's now twice as many bus trips. Haha. And they even take inmates to the federal courts. There's all kinds of stuff. They even bus inmates to Long Island courts. Sometimes we take the spill from Long Island, the overspill, so they're in Rikers. Again, lot of people got very rich. Now, you had to hire 10 times as many correction officers now, because when everybody's in a cage, there's not a lot going on. But when you're moving them in and out of a jail, that's the dangerous part. That's where you've had guys, inmates who just dress up in a suit and manage to walk out pretending to be a lawyer. That has worked. That has worked a lot. Remember, they hire uneducated idiots to be correction officers. So now the whole thing's a racket. They don't care because they're now getting money, like the unions. All those workers now have to kick back more money to the unions. Do you see? Now, New York City has always been a Democratic town. The Democrats are not much more honest than the Republicans are. This is the one thing people care about, especially people in power. This is why you run as a Democratic council member. This is why you run as a Democratic mayor or governor. This is why. And so even the Democrats would want more union power, so they would go along with this right-wing conspiracy to create fuckloads of overhead that the taxpayers are going to have to pay to make the jails less safe. There's also another side back, which is treacherous and illegal and super scandalous, is the whole point. Another reason why they moved it to Rikers is it gave them a legal excuse to torture inmates 20 times as much as they could otherwise. Example, you can't imagine what it's like being handcuffed to another guy on a bus, looks like a school bus, going for 15 miles to the courthouse at 6 a.m., sleep deprived, drooling from sleep. There's nothing you can do. You have no rights of any kind. Don't believe the fucking lies they tell you. And you're on a hard plastic seat, the BQE. Nobody can repave the BQE. You know why? Because it's been run by Republicans for so long that they just let it decay and took all those monies for repairing roads and gave it to the New York Times, Daily News, New York Post. The Republicans work for the corporations, not you and I. What are some other points here? Now, just imagine that, though. Imagine being in a bus, going over all those potholes. Now, here's your ass. You're handcuffed to another guy. Your ass is slamming into this hard plastic seat over and over again. Over and over again. Now, you've heard of the pelvic bone, right? You have a pelvic bone in you that is smashing into your butt muscles over and over again. This is literally an international crime. Anything that causes pain to a detainee is an international crime, and you could execute the heads of Rikers tomorrow for that human rights crime. You're trying to hurt hundreds of thousands of people. That was your intention, you fucking liars. And that's just one way they did it. And I exposed all of it. That's why every liberal in the arts community united to stop me, because I was going to bring down Bloomberg and Giuliani, as I've already brought down Giuliani before. I have a little bit of credibility, 9/11 Commission. I already took America's mayor down. Now I'm going after the billionaire who's 5 million times more powerful than America's mayor. And that's when every liberal united to stop me, to protect the Republican billionaire who robbed the entire world. You don't even know the international shit he did. But here's a little secret the newspapers will never tell you. The number one funder of Bush and Cheney, a billionaire named Mike Bloomberg. Number one funder of the Republican Party all over the country and in New York State, Mike Bloomberg. Yes, he gave money to Democrats sometimes, because Mike Bloomberg, you got to pay hush money to all powerful people. You got to play both sides. Hey, that's how a con artist does it. By having the buses taking us to court every day, it helps the system. Here's another big secret. You want to know the big secret? This is one of my lawsuits that's probably never going to go forward, because the federal judges are almost as dirty as everybody else, even though they have lifetime appointment. Sometimes you can find an honest federal judge because they are untouchable. And some of them, they get old and they're like, you know what? I'm done murdering America. I'm going to before I die, I want to do a few good things before I die to help my friends and neighbors instead of the evil shit I've done my whole life and career. What the fuck was I saying? I'm juggling too many things. Sorry, where's my accent? I was going to make a very good point about, Anyhow, one thing I'm arguing in my lawsuit, check this out. This is why I don't blame them. They are very smart to shut down my YouTube videos. I think they are. I'm fucking good at what I do. Watch this. I'm arguing a federal lawsuit that it is illegal, it's unconstitutional for the mayor of New York City, who was a Republican scumbag for 20 years, he controls the police. Right there, that's illegal. It's a federal crime. You can't have the mayor controlling the police. How do they arrest him if he breaks the law? It's a conflict of interest. The police have to be independent. The head of the police should be an elected official. We elect the police commissioner. He's independent of all the politicians he's supposed to police. Do you see? Duh. We have a right to due process, etc. 14th Amendment, etc. I'm sorry, you're wrong on the law. Bring a bunch of scholars. Let's debate this one, motherfuckers. You won't see ever Republicans saying, we'll debate you. We'll debate you. You won't see any legal experts. No one ever says, we'll debate this other motherfucker. They don't. Instead, they attack me, change the subject, kill the messenger. That should be your first tip. The mayor can't run the NYPD. That's completely illegal. But guess who also appoints the judges, at least in all the misdemeanor courts? The same guy who runs the police. Now, do you see a problem there? Right there, we have a second huge federal scandal. The judges are supposed to be a checks and balance on the police. But if they both have the same boss, that's a conflict of interest. It violates due process in the 14th Amendment. Game over. But wait, there's more. Guess who sets the budget for the district attorneys? Now, the district attorneys are a checks and balance on the other two. Again, we see a giant incestuous family. Crime family. But wait, there's more. Guess who controls our lawyers? The lawyers for the defendants. That's right. The same man who controls the DAs, the judges, and the police. 4 checks and balances, all run by the same one man. Is that really legal? No, it's not. It's not even slightly legal. And my lawsuits are flawless, but the CIA are going to shut me down. They have to. If I succeed in even any of the things I'm trying to do, we change America forever. I wish they would just kill me, but they don't have that kind of consideration or decency. Just kill me and get me out of here. You people want to live this world you've made? Go for it. Because I've tried to help people my whole life, and they don't want the help. All the liberals in New York City have done everything in their power to protect the Republicans as those Republicans raise their bills, taxes, and fees. You humans can't be saved. I'm being stupid by making these fucking videos, but I still in my heart somehow want to fucking try and help you monsters. I'm a talented motherfucker. I could go out and just get rich and have hot girlfriends for the rest of my life. But there isn't anybody smart working on your team. Occupy Wall Street don't know anything. I mean, that's not true. They've done some good. But they don't know jack shit about jack shit. The liberal activists aren't doing shit. They work for the Republicans for all intents and purposes. No one cares. I've reached out to Occupy Wall Street. Did they say, wow, you're the guy in the 9/11 Commission? You have proven credibility and effectiveness. We want to work with you? No. Occupy Wall Street helped shut me down, too, to protect Bloomberg. They hailed Bloomberg until he beat the shit out of them. Ha, 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 ha. Look at that muscle. Look at these guns. Holy shit. Why am I wasting my time trying to help others? I've tried my whole life, and they have always turned on me and stabbed me in the back. That's all the human beings know how to do. You're savages. Let's wrap this up. But wait, there's still more. Police, judges, DAs, defense attorneys. Everyone always forgets the fifth arm. That's the secret weapon of the totalitarians. The Department of Corrections. When the government arrests you, it's a judge who's in bed with the police and the DAs who sets your bail or decides whether you go home that day on your own cognizance. Now, I take all my arrests to trial, so it stands to reason that judges hit me with the highest bail in U.S. history on misdemeanors, right? Here's a guy who's not even a 1% chance of flight or splitting to Mexico. The charges against him are petty, attempted harassment. It's a B misdemeanor. It's a notch above a parking ticket. Attempted contempt. It's a B misdemeanor. It's a notch above a parking ticket. All my arrests are A and B misdemeanors. They're on their face. I'm not alleged to have spit at anybody. The allegations against me are he put words together and humiliated this person in a public forum. That's their allegation. I'm like, I agree with all that. But you say it's a harassment. No, it isn't. And I won last year in the top court in New York State. They said the harassment statute used to jail me for 20 years was false, illegal, and it was illegal. By the way, it was unconstitutional. That's what the top court said. It's settled. It's over. There's nothing they can do now. It's over. I won. But did I really win? It's another little baby step towards progress. Maybe we'll have you people free of the chains in 5,000 more years. That's how slow the human race is. The jail is the secret weapon because The jail is what the judge will set $500 bail on somebody he knows he can't pay. Now that person's going to sit in jail until they cop out. The DA is going. They said it to me. They said, Christopher, just say you're guilty, and we'll let you go home. We'll let you out of Rikers and stop the torture tomorrow. All you have to do is say you're guilty, which the newspapers will report, and then it will discredit you completely as an activist because you will admit that you're a scumbag criminal. See? And that's how they get Americans, innocent Americans, every day plead guilty to crimes they can prove easily they're innocent of. But the government will not give them a chance. If you don't go to jail while your case is pending, they'll still make you take a day off from work to come back every month, and you come back for no reason. Any of you have ever been to court, you see that. You go to court simply to get another court date to go to court. Simply to get another court date to go to court. Simply to get another court date to go to court. They do this to harass you, to make you take more and more time off from work, until you finally say, all right, fuck. And they say, listen, just say you're guilty of a lesser crime. We win. We have a 95% conviction rate. And we make you look bad, but you get your freedom back. Or you sit in jail and they say, we'll give you time served. All you got to do is say you're guilty. They made me that offer many times, and I said, fuck you. I will die in jail, but I am not going to let you sneak out the back door like that, you motherfuckers. You can torture me. You can fucking kill me, assholes. But you're going to have to make these stupid arguments under oath in a court of law. Well, they're not under oath. They should be. And all Americans agree with me, left wing and right wing. Every lawyer in a court of law must be under oath. Any misstatements they make, any misleading comments, any deceptions, they go to prison. That's how we Americans want it. But Goliath, the Democrats and Republicans, will not allow that. And you know why. But people don't realize that. The secret weapon is the jails. Now, this is where Rikers comes in. The more they're allowed to torture you in jail, the easier the policeman, judge, DA's jobs become. Even the defense attorneys, they don't want to do any work. They get paid whether they do any work. My lawyers got paid whether they did the work or not. So would you do the work? We pay legal aid. Legal aid are the public defenders, the main public defenders. They're paid salary. That means literally the less work they do on your case, the higher their per hour salary gets. Ding, ding, ding. I'm arguing that's unconstitutional. The government has deliberately created a system that discourages my protector, the defense attorney, from doing his job protecting me against Goliath. Ta-da! It's all a corrupt, Stalinistic pile of shit, people. All of it. Why do you think the New York Times writes lies about me? The New York Post this year wrote a huge, almost full-page story on me filled with fucking lies. And yes, I'm going to win in the end. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo, I win in the end. But then I have an old proverb of mine as a teenager. I always get the last laugh. But by then, it's no longer funny. And that's true. All Goliath wants to do is win in the here and now. They don't give a fuck what happens after they die. That they murdered the country, they murdered their friends and family. They just care that they are living wealthy now, fucking underage prostitutes. That's all they care about, people. They're sociopaths. Now, here's what I wish I could reach out to them. I wish we could have national debates on this stuff, Stephen Colbert. But they're not even happy, you know? Yes, Dick Cheney can fuck all the young girls he wants, and young boys, rather, who are male prostitutes. Or he can pay them hush money, whatever. But ultimately, that's not satisfying. You can ask Dick Cheney. It's not satisfying. It's empty. Like everything else. You can buy all the mansions you want. It's empty. Did Jay Leno really feel that better after he bought 500 cars? No. Did Jerry Seinfeld really feel that complete once he bought all these cars he liked? No. The possessions do not make you happier, people. Fucking over others does not make you happier. We need to change the entire dialogue in our society. I almost said civilization by accident. We need to change the dialogue. People need to realize that because everyone's fucking everyone over trying to climb that ladder. But they need to realize that ladder's fake. It's a fiction. The grass is greener on the side. Your neighbor looks like he's doing better than you. No, he isn't. Everyone's miserable. The rich people are even more miserable than the poor people are. So we need to teach them this so people stop fucking each other over to theoretically get ahead. You're not. Bloomberg was so miserable being a billionaire that he had to steal elections to become mayor because he still, as a very, very short midget Hitler, it didn't matter that he was rich. He was a mousy man, so nobody gave him any. You'd push him out of the way for a cab in the rain. You understand? He'd wait in line. He'd go to a fancy restaurant and say, I'm Mike Bloomberg. And the valet, or what do they call him? Not the valet. what the fuck? Maitre D, whatever, would say, I'm sorry, it's a 3-hour wait. And Bloomberg would say, excuse me, I'm Mike Bloomberg. Did you not hear? My name's Mike Bloomberg. You see it in the newspapers every day. I'm Bloomberg, Bloomberg, Bloomberg. I named all my companies Bloomberg so people would know I'm important, so I would feel taller than 5'5". Napoleon complex. And it worked. Oh, no, I mean, it didn't work there. They would say, nobody would be impressed. It'd be like, oh, you told me you're a billionaire, but I don't care. You look unimpressive. If you heard Mike Bloomberg speak, watch him. He can't even speak like an adult unless he's reading something off a piece of paper that some adult wrote him. The guy, not even his allies will tell you, he's not a bright guy. Mike Bloomberg has almost no sense of humor, which is a great sign of intelligence, say all studies. He's dim bulb in that category. He's a dim bulb in every category. He doesn't know jack shit about action. Every one of his companies is a failure except for the one somebody else created for him. I'm starting to see a pattern here. I am starting to see a pattern, ladies and germs. What was I saying, though? Now, even by Bloomberg, he's not happy. He's happier now because for the last 12, 13 years, since he started using his money to be in the front pages of newspapers every day as mayor, and he bribed the reporters to write that he had fixed everything, so everyone now thought he was a messiah. So now, suddenly, at the age of 60 or whatever, 65, he's suddenly getting the respect that even as a billionaire he didn't get. That's why he bought the office of... Everyone's asked, why is he spending the most money in world history to buy a municipal election? And I was standing there. I was actually on the ballot against him in 2001, saying, no one can guess why he's spending the most money in history. I said, one, there's two reasons. One, respect and power that he hasn't been able to get even as a billionaire because of his stature and his he walks in a room, nobody takes him seriously because they hear him open his mouth and they go, that guy's a fucking moron. I don't give a fuck if he's a billionaire. How did he become a billionaire? He's a fucking moron. Everywhere Mike Bloomberg goes, the minute he walks into a room, he's 5'5", he's mousy, he's homely, he's got nothing going for him. That's why he named all his companies Bloomberg, Bloomberg, Bloomberg. Remember me, Sally? You rejected me in junior high? Well, I'm Mike Bloomberg. I'm a billionaire. Bloomberg, Bloomberg. Did you see my name? Bloomberg, Bloomberg. Now that's what catches him in federal crimes. Again, remember that, people. That's one of the ways he goes down in flames. If only the liberals hadn't stopped me, he would have already gone down in flames. He couldn't legally have been mayor because all of his companies are named Bloomberg. So every minute he was mayor, he got billions in free advertising around the world. And his corporation, the Terminals, is an international company. Do you follow me? The only way he could have legally been mayor is he would have had to sell his company first. That even came out in the newspapers a little bit when he first entered because he hadn't bribed everybody fully yet. Go back and look. Go back and look at the newspapers in 2001, right after he steals the election. People say he buys elections. That's misleading. Don't say that. If you say he bought an election, that suggests that it was actually almost a fair transaction. When I buy a can of Pepsi, that's a fair transaction, theoretically. He didn't buy the elections. He stole the elections. He stole the elections. Let me say it with me. He didn't buy any elections. He stole the elections. These politicians don't buy elections. They steal elections. Huge difference. You've got to remember, language matters. They're skilled at using language, and the left wing is dumb as shit when it comes to language. So that's why they'll say the war on cops as a propaganda device, propaganda. And then the moron left-wingers will call it the war on cops, even to make fun of it. And I'm like, if you called it the war on cops, then you just fell into their trap, you fucking idiots. I said you'd call it the war on Nazis. So you'd say, there is a war on Nazis, and we're going to win this war. And they'd be like, no, there's a war on cops. Like, yeah, that's what we said, a war on Nazis. Like, no, not Nazis, cops. So they have to either defend the Nazis or say, well, we agree with you that there should be a war on Nazis. Do you see? But the left wing is as dumb as the right wing is dishonest. So remember that. Spread the word. Bloomberg it's not even clever. Bloomberg couldn't be mayor. How could he be mayor? He's personally profiting by being in office. That's not remotely legal under the conflict of interest laws, etc. It's common sense. But New York City is the world capital of morons. And people will tell you that's false. And you can't find one of those people who say I'm wrong who's willing to debate me. I wonder why that would be. If they were smart, they wouldn't be scared to debate me. But if they were dumb, they would be. And if they were lying, they would be. I'm starting to see some kind of pattern here. Anyhow, let's get back to the final points about Rikers. I'm the king of digression. I'm sorry, but if you knew 1% of the shit I know, and I know billions of scandals, everything. Pick a category, music industry, TV industry, anything you want. I know too much. That's why I wish they would kill me. I have a song called Who Do I Have to Piss Off to Get Killed Around Here? Sheesh, what's it going to take? The problem for me is when I go after Bloomberg, the feds hate his guts too, so they're not inclined to fucking come get me or put me in federal prison on some real trumped up charges. The feds wouldn't mind if I took Bloomberg down. That's why Bloomberg and his New York City goons and New York Times and Daily News have to work overtime to stop me, to neutralize me, to smear me in the newspapers, to turn everyone against me by saying things like I harass teenage girls and all the other horseshit that's now been proven false, but they're still repeating the lies. Will my lawsuits work? I don't know. Anything in a court of law is a roll of the dice because there's no such thing as law. There's whatever the fucking judge wants. And there's no accountability. If you think there is, you're dumb. And we can fix all of it in 2 weeks. But we can't if you don't wake the fuck up. And we can't if you don't get off your fucking lazy ass. If you don't make any noise, then they don't give a fuck about you. The more noise we make, the sooner we can have legal weed. The sooner we can have $300 a month rent, the sooner we can get rid of the IRS, the sooner we can have no more potholes. But it's up to you. It's not up to the 1%. It's not up to me. It's up to you and your friends. Are you going to make some angry phone calls? I didn't think so. Are you going to send some angry emails? Are you going to make any kind of noise? You can make stickers up. There's a billion things people could do. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. Remember that quote. Very important quote. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. The more noise we make, the more songs that are written, the more artists that spread these points, the sooner this whole thing collapses. You even have Republicans in 2015, during the presidential campaign, there are Republicans now all saying we need prison reform. What? These were people 3 years ago saying the exact opposite. How many Republicans still say the earth is the center of the universe? That's right. Not one Republican stuck to their principles because they were faced with an overwhelming tsunami of logic and facts. Fuck, this is 41 minutes? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God, I don't think I can upload this. Oh, fucking Lord. Rikers is the secret weapon. By busing us to the courts, it's another way to torture us, but make it look like it's not unreasonable. I know it's not ideal, but we gotta get them to the courthouse somehow. We don't have enough room in the tombs they finally reopened the Brooklyn House of Detention. They tried to sell that for luxury condos, fucking assholes. They reopened it. I was in lovely. I wish I could tell you more about the Brooklyn House of Detention. I'd have to write 500 books just about the Brooklyn House of Detention. And it's called the Brooklyn. Now, even that though, there's an interesting point. Calling it the Brooklyn House of Detention is legal. Calling anything the Department of Corrections is illegal. It's fraud. No one disputes that they don't correct anybody. No one disputes that they don't even attempt to correct anybody. That they call it that is a scam on the public. And almost every crime in America was committed by who? That's right, somebody who had been previously corrected. That's another way we're going to fucking get them in a court of law if we get a judge who's even remotely decent. Because even judges read every day in the newspapers, ex-con, ex-con, ex-con rapes a little baby, ex-con murders, ex-con robs, ex-con burns, ex-con does all these bad things. These are Frankenstein monsters, first of all, built by our system from childbirth. As we neglect kids and we neglect the inner city kids, we know the solutions to all these problems. But nobody in power wants solutions because then the money disappears. Do you see? Rikers, they have to make bus trips to dozens of courthouses. And that ain't cheap. It might even be the number one expense of the DOC if you actually looked into it. But there's nobody who will look into it, and I can't do all the work myself. There aren't any other investigative reporters. Matt Taibbi is a former colleague of mine. He works at Rolling Stone. You cannot get Matt Taibbi to write about any of these important issues, these human rights transgressions. You can't. These scandals, these super international crimes. He won't. Ask him why. He won't tell me why. I think it's because he's scared of a billionaire, but I could be wrong. But Matt doesn't want to tell his side of the story. So what was the point, though? Now, even the Bloomberg administration admitted, we got to shut down Rikers. It's a toilet of money. And one reason is because the expense of shipping inmates back and forth every day. The city's bankrupt. The city is super bankrupt. The newspapers kept secret how much secret borrowing. They kept secret the secret borrowing by Republican Giuliani and Republican Bloomberg on your credit cards. Remember, a lot of that's federal money too. Okay, people? Wake up. It's not just New Yorkers who got fucked by these two assholes. And we could even theoretically go after them because, if you heard, is it the False Claims Act? The one they're using, the Lance Armstrong case. If us whistleblowers can show Giuliani and Bloomberg misspending federal monies, we get 30% of the money recovered. That's how the federal government tried to get more whistleblowers to come forward. Now, how legit is it? There's your other catch. And, of course, the Department of Justice, Loretta Lynch and Obama are worse Republicans than Bush and Cheney in most categories. In some categories, they're better. But in most categories, Obama, far more right-wing. Just like the most Republican president in U.S. history was Bill Clinton. They don't want you to know that because it tricked all the fucking dumbass liberals and Democrats. It worked. It still works. You know how many of my friends voted for the guy who was against gay? All my friends are for gay marriage, and all of them voted for the guy who was against gay marriage. Ding, 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 ding. I never voted for Obama. I never even considered voting for Obama because I knew he was a Republican. Because I'm what you call a smart person. Remember that. If you know anybody who voted for Obama and they say they're for gay rights, break their fucking Nazi face open. You voted voluntarily for a man who was completely opposed to gay marriage. Obama didn't say, we can't have, I wish we could have equality, but we can't. Obama said he does not believe in equality for certain minorities. If he was a white man saying that, you should break his Nazi face open. But if he's a black man saying that, you should break his Nazi face open every minute of every day for the next 30 years. There is no form of life lower than a hypocrite. Again, a white man mistreating minorities is evil. A black man mistreating minorities is impossible to measure. That's how much more evil he is than the white bigots. And anyone who voted for Obama, we should fucking break their Nazi faces open too. You fucking Nazis. You chose to be a Nazi, and you have no one to blame if the hammer comes down on you Nazis. No one. No one put a gun to your head and said, be a Nazi. All of you made that choice. Remember that. I'm going to make sure you never forget it. Anyone who voted against equality should be treated accordingly. We should all shit on that person. But the good news is you're all already beating your shit out of yourselves. All the fucking fake liberals in New York City who turned on me to help the Republicans, they all fucked themselves. I don't even have to get revenge. They got revenge on themselves. The rent is through the roof. Their lives are miserable. They'll be on a fucking subway platform dripping in sweat in the summertime because, the MTA couldn't afford $100 ceiling fans. Shut up. You snoozed, you losed, just like the Jews. In a nutshell, how can I sum this up? I need to sum it up in some very brief way. Your human race can't be saved, and I'm a fucking jerk off for trying to help you. Remember, Rikers was a complete racket by design. It was designed to be a racket in every level, and no one will tell you the truth but me. Have a nice day.